Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm doing a re-upload on my combo video for Shaddolls. I made some mistakes that I shouldn't have, so I figured I'd just go ahead and redo the whole thing. I went ahead and delete the old video and just start over and make sure I do everything correctly. I actually took this to my locals yesterday. I almost got top 4. All I needed was one more win, but unfortunately I lost to Dracos. My other matchups were two zombie players actually. Both were grindy as hell, but very fun to play. I went up against a Cyber Dragon. I lost to that one. And I also went up against the some weird Danger Vanities Fiend deck. I'd never seen anything like it before, but it worked for him. But he actually tried to get me with the Vanities Fiend, but sadly it didn't work out as well as he would have thought. But I still pushed through and just outed everything he tried to throw at me. So it was still fun though. Anyway, just doing 2 test hands like I normally do. One going first, one going second, because this deck is primarily going second, but sometimes players are going to force you to go first because they know you want to go second. So yeah, it becomes tricky going first, but it is possible to pull off. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, Called by the Grave, that's actually not too bad. Wendy, Ash Blossom, that's really good too. Shaddoll Fusion, I love seeing that. And last but not least, okay, another copy of Shaddoll Fusion. Honestly, I'm not too worried about that just because there's things you can actually go off with this. So, if anything, I'd probably just start off simple, set your Wendy. That way, you can trigger off her flip effect. If your opponent pops it, you're definitely going to get a free bonus regardless, so it comes in clutch. And then I probably just set the Shaddoll Fusion and then the Called by the Grave. And the reason you want to set the Called by the Grave is because your opponent is going to want to try to stop Wendy. Since she special summons from deck, you definitely just want to stop it with Ash, or with the Called by the Grave. Now, of course, you do have your own Ash, so if anything, make sure you use this first before you bring out your own Called by the Grave. Because if your opponent you hit your opponent's Ash, then you can't use your own Ash. That it becomes tricky. So your opponent starts his turn, tries to special summon from deck himself. You Ash him, that's all good into there. And then at any given point, he's gonna enter his battle phase. Let's say he has a few monsters on board. He's gonna attack over your Wendy. Wendy effect will special summon one from deck and face up or face down defense. In which case, I'll probably just go for the Beast. That way, I at least get its flip effect going. So yeah, I'd set Beast. Wendy goes, and then your opponent attacks again, and then you just flip summon your Beast. Beast effect lets you draw 2, but discard 1. So yeah, like the deck can be fairly resistant if played correctly, because sometimes you don't always have to rely on the fusion. Sometimes you can also make full use of the flip effects too, which is really nice. So yeah, Beast effect will trigger off letting you draw 2, but discard 1. Okay, so I saw Incarnation and in Super Poly, I'd probably discard the. Actually, since I already have a Shaddoll Fusion, I'd probably discard that. So yeah, so that's generally all that's going to happen. Of course, you might take some damage, but again, that's okay. The whole point of the deck is to also boost up your defenses. So, and this deck is really good at doing that. And again, if your opponent at any time try to Ash your Wendy, you always have that Called by the Grave at any given time too. So just bear that in mind. All right. Next turn you draw. Okay, it's Shaddoll Hedgehog. If your opponent has anything you can super poly into, what you could do is normal summon your Hedgehog if you wanted to, and then play Super Polymerization. You discard the Incarnation. Let's say your opponent had a light, just fuse your Shaddoll with the light monster, make Shaddoll Construct, and yeah, it just becomes nuts. And then at that point you have a Chain Link going. You got Shaddoll Construct's effect, and then Hedgehog's effect, so Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, and then you just search out a Shaddoll monster, in which case I'll probably just go for the Aerial. Yeah, Aerial will be fine. Oops. And then Construct lets you dump one. I'd go Skomata. And then Skomata effect to send Wendy. And then Wendy effect, I'll probably go ahead and set down, I'd probably just go for the Falco, because Falco also has a really cool grind game effect going for him. So yeah, we'll go Falco. And then afterwards, and if you wanted to, you could actually use the effect of Incarnation. So like you could banish it +1 Shaddoll monster in your grave. I'd just go for the this Hedgehog and flip summon my Falco back in face up defense. Falco effect to special summon 1 in face down defense from your deck, or from your graveyard. I'm sorry. I'd probably go Beast. That way I could just save it for later, and if I need to use its flip effect, you could do that too. And then at that point, you just enter your battle phase. If your construct battles a special summon monster, it would automatically pop it. And considering we still have Shaddoll Fusion set, you could play that. Use Shaddoll Construct together with your Aerial, just so you can make App Cologne. App Cologne effect, Shaddoll Constructs effect, and Aerial effect. So Chain Link 1, 2, and 3. You banish 3 cards from your opponent's graveyard. Construct will allow you to draw 1 or add 1 back to your hand. And if your opponent has anything else that's still face up, just negate its effects and just attack over with App Cologne. So yeah, that's generally all you're gonna keep doing. Really, it's like this deck can be fairly annoying, and the fact that this deck also has some really powerful recursion, it becomes nuts. You could just enter your main phase 2, just set Shaddoll Fusion again, and just kind of go from square one, really. So yeah, that's just the gist of Shaddolls plays. It's a really fun fusion deck. Also makes full advantage of the flip monsters. So, and honestly, with Windy, it just makes this deck so much stronger than it used to be. So, I'm just really glad that Konami decided to let us have this back at full power again. All right, let me reshuffle everything, and then we'll do it going second hand this time. All right. So our new hand is Emergency Teleport. I don't mind seeing that actually. Oh, nice. Super Polymerization, so that's really good for breaking boards. Falco, okay, that's actually okay. As long as I see one Shaddoll monster, I'm okay with that. Shaddoll Windy, and last but not least, Beast. So Beast isn't bad at all, honestly. Like, even though I don't like to see him in my opening hand, at least he's discard fodder, especially if I have a way to bring him back from the graveyard. So yeah, it's not so bad. You know, your opponent goes off. Unfortunately, you don't have any hand traps, but again, that's fine. This deck's not really too big on hand traps. So your opponent, you know, basically sets up a board. Like I said, like if your opponent has anything that you can use for Super Poly, because again, the fusions are different attributes, so you have plenty of options to go with. You should be able to go from there. So your turn finally starts. You know, you draw 1 card. Okay, Called by the Grave, so that really works out too. What I normally like to do when it comes to this sort of hand, I like to bait out my opponent with Emergency Teleport. If he doesn't even have a response to that, I often go into Ghost Ogre. And the reason being is because, like, if your opponent has some form of negation, like let's say Appaloosa, you know, if you can bait out Appaloosa's negate and then chain Ghost Ogre's effect, you can essentially kill the Appaloosa, and her negation cannot go through because she has to be able to lower her attack points, and Ogre's effect will trigger off first, allowing you to like essentially destroy her, and then she'll have no attack points whatsoever. So like, Ogre is definitely something to try out, or just in general, if your opponent tries to like disrupt you with some other card, you know. Ghost Ogre will definitely help you out in the long run too. So yeah, at that point you can go ahead and normal summon Shaddoll Windy. Again, if your opponent has anything you can super poly into, let's just say he had a light or a dark, I'd probably just go for a light this time, you know. Or better yet, if your opponent has an Earth too, because like I forgot that Shekinaga is also a thing too. So if your opponent, let's say, had an Earth monster, you super poly. My discard is going to be Beast. And then, yeah, just go into, like, Shaddoll Shekinaga. Since you do have some Shaddoll cards in hand, it really helps. So, Shaddoll Windy lets you special someone from the deck and face down defense. At that point, I'll probably just go for Hedgehogs. That way I can at least get access to one of my Shaddoll spells and traps later. And then afterwards, you just attack over. Again, if your opponent has any form of negation that he tries to do or anything like that, Ogre is always going to be there for you. Of course, it'll destroy itself at the end phase of the turn, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Oh, no, it's banished. Okay. So, yeah, no, that's fine. And then, at the end of the turn, you pretty much just set the Called by the Grave, and you should be good to go, really. And then next turn, you know, your opponent's going to try to attack over your Shekinaga or even your Hedgehog. And, yeah, just like Hedgehog will let you search out any spell and trap. You can go for one of the fusions. You can go for ReShaddoll Incarnation, whatever you want. So, like, yeah, the possibilities with this deck is just there. Like, there's so many things you can do. I always like to think outside the box. Again, it all depends on your matchup. Like, if it's Spirals, you know, sometimes I like to try to get rid of that Appaloosa as fast as I can. If they have the Sleeper, and I already know how to get rid of the Appaloosa without, you know, using Super Poly on that, sometimes I'll just go for the Sleeper, and then, like, just try to go from there. Because, like, your opponent's most likely going to try to negate it with Appaloosa and so on. Yeah. Like, the deck is really nuts. So, alright, well, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really hope this video was very helpful, and I'll catch you guys again next time.